A question tag is a device which can turn a statement into a question. For example, the statement, "He isn't feeling well," can be turned into a question by adding the question tag, "Is he?" So, we can say, "He isn't feeling well, is he?" Similarly, you can play the piano, can be turned into a question by adding, "Can't you?" Question tags are very common in spoken English. Most often, we use them when we think we know the answer and want confirmation. Compare these questions. Are you a doctor? And, you're a doctor, aren't you? The speaker has used a question tag in the second question because she is pretty sure that the other person is a doctor, and just wants confirmation. Now, let's look at how we form question tags. There are 3 rules to follow when forming question tags. These are: the subject in the tag must match the subject in the statement. The auxiliary verb, or verb, in the tag must match the verb used in the statement. If the statement is positive, the tag is negative, and if the statement is negative, the tag is positive. Let's look at each of these in turn. The subject is the person, or thing, that does the action, and in question tags the subject must be the same as the statement. So, for example, if we want to add a question tag to the statement, "You've read this book," then, because you is the subject, we need to make sure we use you in the question tag. Similarly, in the statement, "They won the cup," they is the subject, so the question tag must have they as well. If the subject is an object, then the subject in the question tag will be it, as in the pizza is tasty, isn't it? Which verb do we use in the question tag? Well, if there is an auxiliary verb, a modal verb, or the verb to be in the statement, then we repeat those verbs in the question tags. For example, "She is watching TV," and "They haven't been to New York." Both contain auxiliary verbs, which we need to repeat in the question tag. Similarly, "He should work harder," and "We can't start again." Both contain modal verbs, which are repeated in the tag. "You're happy," and "He's American." Both contain the verb to be. Again, this is repeated in the tag. For verbs that are in the present simple, or past simple, we use do, does, or did, in the question tag. For example, "You live here, don't you? He speaks French, doesn't he? They worked for a British company, didn't they?" The final rule to remember is that if the statement is positive, then the question tag is negative. And if the statement is negative, then the question tag is positive. For example, "You visited the Louvre, haven't you?" Or, "She wasn't answering her phone, was she?" But there are some question tags which don't follow these rules. Let's look at some of them. When a statement begins with "I am," we use "aren't" in the question tag. For example, "I'm so clever, aren't I?" And, when we want to make suggestions starting with "let's," we use "shall we" in the question tag, such as, "Let's finish, shall we?" When a statement begins with "there," the question tag is also there. For example, "There is nothing to eat, is there?" And with statements beginning with "this," the question tag is "it," such as, "This is good, isn't it?" Statements which begin with "nobody" or "no one," "somebody" or "someone," and "everybody" or "everyone," have "they" in the question tag. For example, "Somebody knows the answer, don't they? Everyone went home, didn't they?" And in statements beginning with "nothing" or "something," the question tag is "it," such as, "Nothing happened, did it? Something isn't right, is it?" And finally, statements containing negative words such as "never," "seldom," and "hardly," the question tag is positive. For example, "You never call me, do you? He seldom speaks in meetings, does he?" Let's practice what we have learnt so far. Look at these statements. Complete them with the correct question tag. You may want to watch the 3 rules again. Pause the video to give yourself time to think of the question tags, and return when you are ready. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the correct answers. The first one is a positive statement, and there is an auxiliary verb. So, the question tag is isn't he. The second statement is positive and in the past simple, so the question tag is didn't they. The third statement is past simple negative and the subject is a thing, so the tag should be was it. The fourth statement uses a modal verb, which means the question tag repeats the modal verb. And the final statement contains the negative auxiliary verb, which means the question tag is have we. Question tags are most often used in spoken English. They are very useful for starting a conversation, especially with a stranger, or someone you don't know very well. For example, it's a nice day today, isn't it? Did you watch the match last night? It was good, wasn't it? We've met before, haven't we? It is very common to use more informal words as question tags. You will often hear words like, yeah, and right, used in place of a question tag. These serve the same function as a question tags. For example, in the same situations, we can say, it's a nice day today, right?